Hey, welcome. So I realized that I've always had this setup where I could be mobile, but I always work in my studio. But I figured I'd hang and chat with everybody um, before I did some art. How are you doing today? Hope you guys are all having a good one. I guess I've never really showed my house before. Yeah, that's cool. It's nice to see you. Yeah, so I usually do my shows down in the studio that you see. I actually have my studio PC running downstairs, and then I always do all my shows through Zoom, actually. And that way I can have guests come on. I usually do a sports show, and sometimes I do an art show. But I thought it'd be kind of cool since it is on a laptop, I can move it around. I can show different parts of my house, and I can show my cat Neville. There you go. But yeah, no, having my first day off without kids or a wife in probably 11 years. So pretty cool. I just went grocery shopping. So got a bit of lunch here. Anyway, I thought I could chat with people while I have some of that lunch and show off some of the house and other things that I do, not sports related, that I usually talk about on the podcast. But I hope you guys are all doing well today. Um, and yeah, trying to get ready for work, trying to decide if you want to walk or to Uber. Oh, that's is it a nice day? I guess that would probably define whether I would walk or Uber. If it's a nice day, sometimes the walk is good. Also depends on how far the walk is. Right, this cat wants my ribs. She's not going to get. All right, so these are the ribs that I just got. Pretty good. I also got some mac and cheese. Just over hot. I would definitely do it. Put this cat away. He's gonna keep on trying to steal my food. Hmm. All right. Well, yeah, I would check out the weather outside. If it's a mile, it's not too bad. I'd probably do that. Also depends on how much time and how leisurely the walk is. A bunch of different factors, I guess. It's cool. I've never done like a stream where I take people around and do stuff. I always am in my studio talking sports or art or whatever, but I figured a lot of people do just chatting streams. So I figured I could do that as well. A lot of people are just getting here. A lot of people don't know I'm even doing it. But yeah. So the plan today is I am going to do some art and produce a couple of different graphics for my website. Um, and yeah, eating real food. Did your wife name your kitty friend after the iCarly villain? No, his name Neville Longbottom. He's named after the Harry Potter character. So all of our animals are named after Harry Potter characters. So you can see here in the emotes we got and Neville the Devil emote, and we also have a where's Lily? There she is. There's a Lily emote. So yeah, but it's see here. Yeah, I hope that people don't mind if I eat a little bit. Oh, let me get that picked off. Cool. I hope you guys are all having a good day. I'm excited. I'm a big Linkin Park fan, and the new album was released today. Oh, interesting. iCarly had a novel. Oh, yeah, I think I remember that. I did used to watch iCarly, but it's been a long time. So, but yeah, these ribs are really good looking. I was actually kind of surprised. Yeah, well, let me grab water real fast. All right. But yeah, so basically all of my graphics need updating, and so I could have done it offline, but I figured I could show people how I Photoshop different things. So I'll do that in a little bit, and then I've got another show coming up on Sunday that I'm doing a sports podcast, and then also so that one will be at 2, and then on my normal show will be back at 9. I decided to do a bunch of pop-up shows this week. You can find I was on Davey's Eating a Sandwich show. I think the exclamation Davey works. And yeah, so we can go check that out. That was a lot of fun. We did a taco show together, which made me think, oh, we could do other sorts of food things on this channel as well. And then I had Eddie Brown Music on my channel last night, actually, and we designed some brand new emotes for him. So one of the things I might do as part of the art show is show how I resize the emotes to make it so that they work for the emotes that you see on screen. So So welcome on in. We're kind of doing like a mukbang. I'm showing off the ribs I just got, and people can ask me questions about anything art related, or they can talk about video editing and other stuff as well. They're really good ribs. I'm actually really surprised in the grocery store. Yeah, welcome on in. Big Bill Hendo, Electrifying Radio. Welcome on in, guys. Yeah, I thought it'd be fun to do. I have the day off today. I work for a school, and so I thought it'd be kind of fun. Oh, you watched the stream last night from work. That's very awesome. It was really fun making those emotes. They came together real quick. It's fun. Eddie has great visions, and so sometimes we've made emotes in the past where we've messaged back and forth, but we've also done emote show in the past, and I just felt like it was so much better to be able to sit down with him, have a conversation, and work through it and really get what he wanted much quicker. It went a lot faster. And so it's definitely a show I like to do, which is called Design with Me, where I have people on as a guest on Zoom, and they can help me read chat and give some thoughts on the design that they want for them. And so Eddie was nice and he gifted some subs during my subathon. And if you get 5 subs, you get 2 emotes or 2 hours of design time. So you could get like an animated emote as well. So but yeah, so yes, ribs are great though. I am a big fan. My whole family is in Texas right now, so I'm trying to like channel some of that. I hope you guys are all having a great day. What are you guys up to on this Friday? And I'm gonna put that Eddie Brown video from last night up on my YouTube today, probably as well, so people missed that. Oh, there was a Grimer. I didn't even know there was a Pokemon. Stuck on watch till 7 a.m. tomorrow. Oh wow. That is a long time. Yeah, Pokemon already escaped, but I didn't get the notification that a Pokemon even happened. So did I miss it? Weird. Yeah, I never saw that notification. Anyway, well, 13 minutes, we'll get another one, right? So what's the topic? Oh yeah, I was just asking what people were up to today on Friday, whether they had to work today or they had the day off, or if they have any plans for the weekend. But welcome on in, Mark. A lot of first time chatters. I appreciate everyone for joining me. I know I usually stream at 9 o'clock on Mondays, which is a tough time for a lot of people to tune in. Also, I usually talk sports, which is not not everyone's favorite topic. So, hi, Tina, welcome on in. Yeah, we're doing kind of a bit of a mukbang before we get into the art. We got these beautiful ribs. I'm gonna pull this up and I can show them off. But ooh, National Heart. Nice. That's awesome. That's awesome that we've got so many different local people in this chat. I'm gonna get a better knife to cut through these ribs. Hold These are some serious ribs that needs a cut knife. But yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, they are awesome. I'm really surprised they were just from Giant, which is our grocery store here in Maryland. But yeah, they are very thick and a lot of meat to them, which I appreciate. Sometimes ribs I feel like, don't have all that much meat. Yeah. So yeah, I hope you guys are all having a great Friday and have some fun weekend plans. So I'm so happy that so many people were able to tune in. I felt like sometimes if you do random time slots, you get different people, which is kind of fun. Hmm. Good question, Bill. So I've done a Washington D.C. sports podcast for the last 7 years. We just celebrated 7 years and started season 8 on Monday. So we cover all the DC sports. We start with the Capitals most weeks, who are missing the playoffs for the first time in a bunch of years. So that's rough. We also talk Wizards. We talk Washington Commanders, our football team, aka the Washington Redskins from back in the day. And we also talk the Nationals a little bit, DC United as well, a little bit when people want to talk about it. And then I have other people that often talk about those two teams. But I'm really into the XFL right now. So the Defenders are doing really well. They're the number one team in the XFL. So we've actually are hoping to have an interview lined up with the coach at some point soon here. But my co-host was able to actually meet him at a party not that long ago. So yeah, I'm bummed that they lost you, but I'm kind of happy in some ways that they lost, Tina, because I think if they had gone undefeated into the playoffs or something, like that never works out. It's hard to have an undefeated season. So I think that having a loss, especially a humbling loss to at the time an undefeated worst team, at least puts things into perspective that things can happen any week. And the other thing, Tina, that you might find exciting, DJ Swearinger, former Redskin from back in the day, he just signed because his son wanted to see his dad play football, and so he decided to sign with the Defenders on the hopes that he can get back into the XFL. But I love that we've got a former Washington football player joining the XFL, especially in the secondary ranks, which kind of hurt them last week. So that'd be cool. Who's going to own them? That's the question right now. There's a couple of bids put in, and they're hoping that the sale goes through quickly. It's hard to tell. I think there's been either two or three official bids put in at around $6 billion. So Dan Snyder has some decisions to make. There's rumors that there's still that Jeff Bezos still wants to try to buy the team, but he owns the Washington Post, and the Washington Post has done a lot of slanderous things in Snyder's mind. So I don't know if he would sell to them, because I think that there may have been a play by Bezos to use the Washington Post as a way to try to put pressure to sell the team. So we'll see. But there's a bunch of different ownership groups, including one from a billionaire that owns a bunch of teams, and he's going to be joined by Magic, and so there's a bid there and a couple other bids as well. I've lost touch with the XFL recently. It's funny, Electrifying Radio. I've never been a big XFL fan, and but I was kind of into it in 2020 when the team came back, and we have a very rowdy fan base, but then obviously didn't get a full season because of COVID. But this year it's been fun. I mean, I really want to go to a game at Audi Field. So Audi Field, if you don't know, is the field where our soccer team plays, DC United, and they convert it into a football stadium for the Defenders. But it gets super rowdy, and the Defenders are known for something called the beer snake, where everyone puts the plastic cups into a snake, and they get it to go from the bottom all the way to the nosebleeds. Tina. It's wild, and everyone gets a part of it, and the crowd is wild, and they randomly throw lemons, which I don't understand, but it's it seems like a really good time, and I got to catch a game. I used to be a season ticket holder for back when they were the Redskins. Yeah, the XFL's been really fun to watch. There's been a lot of really close games, and the league is pretty fun. Um, yeah, it's amazing and hilarious. I've only seen it on TV and pictures. Yeah, I know. I really want to try to go catch a game for sure. Yeah, the USFL is coming out. I want to get into the USFL, but it's hard if they don't have a DC team. You really wish Arena Football would make its comeback. I know we actually got to cover the Valor as press the year that they won it all, which was a very strange year. They had a horrible regular season, squeaked into the playoffs, and went on a run and won the championship a couple of years back in 2019. Yeah, we had such a crazy run there for a little bit with the Mystics and the Defender, or sorry, the Mystics and the Valor, and obviously the Nationals and the Capitals. So it was really fun to cover the teams, a couple of years ago. This year it's been a little bit less fun. It's the first time in 20 years that both the Wizards and the Capitals will miss the playoffs at the same season. Um, yeah, the first time around, the XFL barely got on the field, so I'm glad it's finally getting a good try this time. Yeah, I know it was only a couple of games before the COVID thing knocked it out. It's interesting because XFL has gone through so many different transitions. Obviously, in the old days, it was owned by Vince McMahon, and it was kind of scripted, and it was kind of like a ridiculous thing where they had a lot of like wrestlers come through, and it was just really over the top. And then that died down for a decade or more, and then it came back, and then it's been cool to kind of see this kind of third iteration. So this third iteration, The Rock bought it, took a couple of years off to try to perfect it, and brought it back. As a Packers fan, it was odd not being in the playoffs. Yeah, I'm sure. That is a weird thing, Bill. Yeah, it's I understand that life because being a Commanders football team fan, it's been a rough couple of years. I mean, we did make the playoffs a couple of years ago, but we never really are going to go far in it. We kind of yeah, it's weird that The Rock has it now. But he's owns it now with his ex-wife, which I think is an interesting combination. But yeah. But this is an open ask me anything. So if you guys have questions about art, filmmaking, emote design, graphic design, web design, I used to teach a lot of these different things. Animation. I'm super happy to answer the questions, and then a little bit I'll do a screen share with some with Photoshop, and we can chat about it a little bit more. Um, what is an odd thing to share with your ex? Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. Um, I've been married and in a relationship for 11 years. I don't really have a good answer for that one. As a diehard Bengals fan, it was weird seeing them not F it up at the end and almost get to the Super Bowl. Yeah, it's really impressive. Oh my goodness. Hey, welcome in, Cookie Mom. Yeah, I am streaming during the day, and thank you for the comment on the hair. Yeah, I usually have headphones back, and but I don't have to be interviewing anybody right now, so I guess I can do it without that. But I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Yeah, the Bengals, they made a hell of a run. It was really it's hard because I also root for the Ravens. So I'm not really a Bengals fan, but they've been playing really well the last couple of seasons for sure. And that's been an interesting rivalry between the two teams. Oh, and the Rock. Oh, and the X. I was like, well, I thought it was a question. What is an odd thing? Yeah. No, I read it right this time. Yeah, it is a weird thing, but they're business partners. They own a bunch of different stuff. I want to learn the digital art side of stuff recently. Yeah, you can. It's never too late. That's one of the things I love about Photoshop and YouTube is you can pretty much search anything and figure out how to do almost anything in Photoshop if you give yourself enough time to figure it out. So what does not think of that? Yeah, no, we're talking about how The Rock and his ex owned the XFL together. But that is an odd thing also. So yeah, welcome on in. We're doing kind of a what I joking about calling a mukbang, where we're eating some ribs here and we're just chatting. And then in a little bit, we're gonna start to do some art. I'm gonna Photoshop some of the graphics. As you can kind of see above me, there's a an animated GIF, and it still says season 7 on it. So I want to update that. I also want to update my website, which is sportsothp.com, where I have all my old podcasts and I have links to all the different socials and videos and things like that. So I want to just kind of update some of the graphics and the graphics for the coming soon screen. And it's the downside to having the graphics have the season in them, is that you then have to update it every year. But I'm a digital pack rat. I keep all my old Photoshop files for all the projects that I do, including all the emotes I've ever made for, now I've probably designed for over 20 people. So it's kind of fun. I can go back and grab elements from somebody else's emote and throw them in and to a different one. And how do I feel about AI digital art joining the emote game? Interesting. That is a good question. I mean, AI art, well, AI in general is so fascinating to me. I was playing around with ChatGPT the other day, and it's crazy what it could learn about you and what any of these AIs can do. But overall, I mean, I prefer artists to get the commissions and get to do it. So it's kind of a and it's fun, I think, in some ways to build it, which is one of the reasons why I do my show, where I can chat with the person I'm making the emote for, get a sense and a feel of what they want and try to express that, which I think AI would be hard to do. You can give it a prompt and it will design something, but it won't have that personal touch for sure. Like this was AI generated. That's actually really cool. I like that. Yeah. No, I think that there's definitely room for AI art. I definitely, so I've been super into Linkin Park again lately. They're still my favorite band. They always have been, but they released a new album today, Meteora 20, which has 89 tracks and 5 hours of music on it. And Meteora was one of my all-time favorite albums. So I'm excited to hear all the demos and all the songs that didn't make the cut. But for a lot of their art that they're doing for the music videos, obviously, since Chester's not with us anymore, is they're using AI digital art and AI artists to make the music videos. That way they can still include old footage of the band and then have it remastered to sort of fit today in a new aesthetic, which is really cool. Oh, there's a Spritzy in chat. So let me see if I can catch all that. So new stream location. Yes, welcome in, Carly. We're kind of doing a bit of a mukbang. I'm gonna show you these crazy ribs that I got. I know that you are a vegetarian, but they are really pretty. And so but they're really good. I also have mac and cheese. I know that you're a fan of cheese and pasta. So we got that as well. So, but welcome on in. So I appreciate everyone for tuning in on my off day. I never get to stream during the day. I was always curious if I stream during the day, if people would come through or not, or especially because I kind of told a couple of people about it, but not a big deal. So I'm kind of doing, Carl, just so you know, I'm doing a little bit of a mukbang before till about 1:15. And then I am going to start doing some digital art in a second. So yeah, I'm happy that we could do it. It's weird that I'm streaming on a Friday. I can't even, I don't know if I've ever streamed on a Friday. So it's almost 7 p.m. here. Oh, cool. Um, that's yeah, wow. What, almost 7 p.m. Interesting. So you must be in Europe. So uh yeah. Carly once upon a time used to stream on Fridays. I remember that. You live in Sicily, Italy. That's awesome. I actually studied abroad in Italy, in Florence, and Carly is part Italian. So I'm a big fan of Italy. My uh yeah, at almost 10 a.m. there. Yeah, this ends up being a good time in the middle. I was originally going to stream a little bit earlier at 11, but I decided to sleep in and go grocery shopping instead. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Italy. I started going to Italy when I was a little kid. And actually, hold on, let me I'll be right back. I'm gonna give editing controls to this computer so I can do screen sharing while I do it. So I'll be right back. Give me 2 seconds. If that works. Back. Okay. Well, I can screen share, but then my camera gets put off the screen. Okay, hold on. Yeah. All right. Well, that's pretty good. Anyway, the joys of having computers in different rooms. So I'm back. So now we can screen share and I can show some cool stuff while we eat for at least the last little part of this. So for those who Zach? This. Do, 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 do. I was going to show a little bit of some of my Italy videos while we were eating, since we were talking about it. Anyway, I think that should work. Does it work if I switch screens? I think so. All right, cool. So I love Venice, and Florence and Rome. Those are my favorite ones. So I actually did a series with Liz where I showcased footage from both my trip when I was um uh from my trip with her, but also my grandmother's trip from back in the day. So you'll see here. It's called it was a 6-part series. There was a part about history and architecture and a part about art in each of the 3 cities. So yeah. Yes, I'm sure the food is phenomenal there. Yeah. That makes total sense. Uber and then stand. Yeah, those were some of the factors I didn't know when I suggested that you go for the walk. So that's cool. You can chill out a little bit longer then. So it's really cool to see some of this old footage and into theater mode. So I did it to Foo Fighters. I'm gonna keep the volume low so that way hopefully it doesn't get muted in the VOD. But yeah, it was really such a beautiful city. I don't know how many of you guys have ever been to Venice, but it's one of my favorite places in the world. When I was really young, my grandmother took me. I must have been like 8 or 10, and then we went when I was a little bit older. I've gotten to go to a bunch of what's called the Biennale, which is actually this year's a Biennale year, where they do a lot of different art from all over the world, where it's modern art shown. So the second video in this series actually shows some of the Biennale from that year when we went. So this video is from 27 years ago. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a really beautiful city. I really love Italy so much. I highly recommend everyone goes. So, and it was really cool to kind of share a love story across time, where we told my story with Liz, but also my grandparents as well, from when they went. So this is St. Mark's Square, which is in the center of Florence, or in the center of Venice, rather. Yes. But I'm happy to talk about any of those trips to Italy as well, or art and stuff. I really wish that I can't wait to go back to a Biennale. I love seeing every different country's take on modern art. The mac and cheese is amazing. So this woman right behind my wife in this picture here looked identical to my grandmother. It was almost like her ghost was right behind Liz. I had to take a picture of it. It was crazy. But yeah, so this is showing the river over time. So I was super influenced by this album at the time, Sonic Highways. So if people don't know what Sonic Highways was, and it's funny because I'm actually wearing a Foo Fighters shirt right now, so it's fitting I talk about them. It was a really cool album where they went and traveled the country and studied about music in different cities, and then wrote a song about each of those cities. So cool. I'm so happy that I started making these time capsules. And so some of this footage you see right now is my grandparents walking down those same streets. Because they used to use old 16mm cameras, and so that was digitized and converted and put onto a smaller tape that we then got digitized into something that I could then edit, which is cool. This is us on a gondola ride. So I'm gonna swap to the next video so you can see a little bit of go to the next button. All right, I'll just spread it. This is the one that was for the art of the Biennale. So this is 2015 is the year. So you can see some of the different so the theme was all the world's futures, which is really a cool art exhibition. So this is different. I don't remember if I put the countries for each of the different pieces of art, but I filmed all of this on my iPhone, which is pretty amazing. Even back in 2015, it took some pretty good quality. So, oh yes, this is the Japanese pavilion. Cricket, I just read I read your comment. That was pretty funny. That you use body wash as lotion, so I should probably mentally prep better. That's really funny. No, Lily's in the other room. She seemed pretty tired from daycare, so I'm actually giving her a little bit of crate time, but she's fine with. She's just curled up in a ball right now. I just don't want her all over my ribs and food, so but I'll pull her out and when I get downstairs. Yeah, Carly, I never really thought about it. The way I have my setup, it's all running through a laptop. So I literally could do my show from any room and still have my studio set up downstairs and just, view chat on the laptop. So it's kind of funny. I just never thought that I could actually be in other places because I guess I've never really shown people around, which is cool. Uh, we have so this is my upstairs living room. Back that way is the kitchen. So I love my house. We've been here for over a decade. It's like we're so lucky to have this place. It is a very cool house. So yeah, it's one of the very we got this house like before we even got married. But yeah, it's just 4 bedrooms. We got some bedrooms behind me over there. Ours, Zach's and Zara's bedrooms, and then downstairs there's a guest room as well. And then the studio, which is awesome. I don't think I've ever really shown people around the studio in a long time either. I'll have to do a studio tour. But it's been good. I think I'm going to take a break on these ribs and save the rest of these for later. Oh, that's for $7. Got a lot of ribs. So, Harley, what are you doing today? You said you're at the gym right now, I think. Does anyone have any fun plans for the weekend? And also let me know, guys, if the music is too loud, or if it's just right, or if I'm coming through okay, because I can sort of see my levels, but the studio is downstairs. Hey, Prestige, welcome on in. I was just eating a little bit of lunch and chatting, and we were looking at different videos I've made over the years. This one we're talking about Italy, so I thought I would show some of the art of the Biennale. It was like a really beautiful thing. So, um, but yeah, it was such a cool experience to get to go and see all this really. So this is also the Peggy Guggenheim collection. So that's something that's always there. And so I had different songs from different Foo Fighters stuff from that album playing throughout this. Um, so there's that video. There's other ones from that series too. So it's Florence. This is the architecture and showing footage from me and my grandmother from back in the day, which is really kind of cool. My grandparents shot this footage in 1962. So it's cool to see how it's changed and also how it's the same. Oh, Pokemon's in chat. It's a gas thing. Have I been to Milan? I actually haven't spent very much time in Milan. I've driven through it, going to Capri, but I've never. Maybe I've spent like a day in Milan, but I wouldn't say like I've traveled there. For Florence, I spent over a month there in the summer of 2007. It's hard to believe how long ago that is now. And then I got to go take Liz to Florence here in 2015, and we went to Florence, Rome, and Venice, stuff like that. Yeah, Italy is such a really cool country and such great art and stuff like that. Nice, good catch, Carly. Need to do a Gengar for you because Gastly's evolved to Gengars. So yeah. Uh, yeah, so here we are making pasta, like it was um, really a great trip. And so we also walked to the top of these different buildings. So you can see we walked to the top of there, up there, and then here we are across from it, another one. So we did a ton of walking up a ton of steps, but the views up here were amazing. Hate out in Milan because all the chocolate in Sicily has spoiled me. That's true. There are a lot. That's why the things I like about Venice, there's no traffic lights. It's all boat traffic or walking across it. I think Venice is such a special place. Venice is like top 5 favorite cities in the world for me. But I really love Florence too. The culture, the food is really phenomenal. And lots of wonderful sculptures. Obviously, the David is there, and stuff like that. So, let me sort of skip ahead. Oh, here we are across the way. Remember, I was showing you the bell tower, and so you can kind of see what it looks like from way up here. Just really incredible views. I highly recommend people go to some of these towers and see some of this stuff. So yeah, so that is the part 3. Part 4 is the art of Florence. I mean, I think Florence is some of the best art of any of the Italian cities. Just really some incredible stuff, which is probably why I studied art in Florence. So I guess I'm biased because I spent 6 weeks studying the art of it there. I also studied Dante because he wrote it in exile of Florence, all of his Divine Comedy, which is a really cool class taught by one of the foremost experts of Dante in the entire world. He's been studying Dante for 30 years. So yeah, so that was cool. And then Rome, then and now. So showing some of my grandparents' footage of Rome and some of mine. This is kind of a fun story. I actually went around all the parts of Rome in it's this one, The Art of Rome. So I'm reading the story here, but basically we're trying to find all the sculptures of Bernini. So I don't know if you guys have seen Angels and Demons, which is a movie. It's also a book. But I try to go to all the spots that happened in the story and videotape them. So that way I kind of had my own version of the book. And also highlighted some of the sculptures and the footage that my grandmother shot as well. So can anyone go to the art show in Italy, or you have to be invited? So that's a good question. So the Biennale, which is the one in Venice, just what I was talking about with modern art that happens every 2 years, and then on opposite years they do one about sculpture. That one you just buy tickets to, and anyone can go to, and it's for the whole entire summer. So there's lots of opportunities to go to, and then a lot of these other places are just museums that I got to go to. But yeah, what was cool is when I studied abroad in Florence, I actually got like a art pass, which got me into all of the different art galleries. So I could keep on going back, and I could actually like draw stuff and sit in the rooms and stare at these paintings for hours, and come back any day and skip the line pass. And as a student, you get a lot of, because they're trying to encourage people to study the art there as part of the student pass. And so some really cool. So these are some of the Bernini sculptures that existed all through Rome, which is kind of fun. And so yeah, so if anyone ever wants to go check out any of these, if you check out Robbie's Family Music Vlogs, you're gonna have to go really far down because it's like the 30th ones. Up here is my most recent video, actually, which is the Disneyland adventure.
So I've got a little bit of a
So
surprise.
if anybody wants to check out my latest vlog, this is it right here. So yeah, so I've done a lot of different music stuff on my channel. Yeah. So speaking of Sarah Cameron, she actually released her new EP at midnight last night. We were celebrating with her, and she did a 5-hour stream leading up to it. Kind of a surprise. She kept on wanting to leave and go to a movie night, and people kept on raiding her. And so yeah, down a little bit. But so it was cool to be a part of that and raid into her. I never got to raid her because we always stream at different times, and so I got to raid into it. And her music is wonderful. So this song is Daydream, and it showed our trip. So this is our spring break trip that we did. We went to LA. If you check my Instagram out, you can see all the tacos and stuff that we did there. And then we went down to Disneyland. We had such a wonderful, wonderful time. Yeah, Cam Fam. Yes, I'm such a big Sarah Cameron music fan. I was one of her very first followers. She actually came into Carly's stream one of the first weeks that she was on Twitch, and we all became friends with her. And yeah, she Well, thank you, Prestige, for giving a gifted sub to Big Bill Hundo. I really appreciate that. Uh, so yeah, that's awesome. So Bill, enjoy all of the fun emotes that we've got. And yeah, that's cool. We've got a lot of really fun ones that I've made over the years for emotes. But yeah, so this is showing the Disney adventure. So I actually the story behind this is this first part is kind of the idyllic Disneyland, what people are looking to do. And and I edited the footage and slowed it down and sped it up so that way it fit the storyline. And the second half of this song is kind of shows the rainy day and then the triumph through all of that. It poured in the mornings for us, but we just got tons of rain gear and we pushed through. So you're a Venusaur guy, but well, you know what's funny is if you're looking for Venusaur emotes, we actually have some as well. Well, I should say they're Bulbasaur emotes, but if you really like that line, go check out our friend Cliff Stallings' music. I was actually modding over there earlier this week, and I won some Pokemon cards, which was really cool. But he's a big Bulbasaur fan, and a lot of my friends are, and I do like Bulbasaur as well. And so we made some of these for him over the years. But yeah, I do. I am a fire starter, so I do like my fire Pokemon. But this was great. I love the Spider-Man ride. Disney has done such incredible stuff. I haven't been there since I was a little kid, but he loved meeting all the different characters, the roller coasters. At 4.5, he was doing every roller coaster he could. He's at 42 inches exactly with his rain boots. So he was able to ride some of the pretty big rides. He was able to do the new Tower of Terror, which was really fun. They've remade it into a Guardian of the Galaxy game or ride. But you can see here it was pouring during the day, which kind of made the lines a little bit smaller. And Disney is celebrating 100 years this year of Disney. So you can see, you'll see, I'll pan up in a second. I'll show up the 100 years sign. But yeah. Yeah, it was fun. I love Moana and the whole parade they do, and they are having such a good time. And shout out to my mother-in-law Denise for shooting a lot of great footage, and I shot this footage, and so did Liz. So I combined over 2 hours of footage into a 7-minute video. So it took about 4 hours to edit this down. But yeah, one of the things I was thinking about doing today was possibly doing some video editing and making some longer form stuff because I know that my son loves reliving rides and things, and I have a lot of footage. So I might make a longer form movie for him and throw it up on the YouTube. And if people wanted to see how some of these rides, more than just the highlights here, they can. But I love these Star Wars rides. The other one, I didn't get any footage of it, but the Rise of the Resistance one is amazing because you're basically on a ship and then you're boarded and you have to walk into like this you're in a star destroyer and then they take you around and put you in a holding cell and they break you out and you go through, they put you in an escape pod, and it's just there's so many levels to it. From you don't realize that you're actually in different lines waiting for stuff, but you really feel like you're in a story. And it was really magical as a Star Wars fan. And also at the end of every night, they do this really great laser light show, which is what you're seeing some of the footage of right now. And super fun. And it was nice. The weather cleared up for the last night, and so they were able to actually do the fireworks part of it. And so you can see right here. But yeah, it's really cool. They have these big ships come around on the water, and I shot a lot of footage from this, but this is just a couple of my favorite scenes. But they basically had Pirates of the Caribbean come out, and it was really really fun. So, um, all right, well, I'll let this run for just a second more, and I'm gonna put this away, and then I'm gonna take you guys back downstairs. I'm not hiding who I'm meant to be, shaking loose and I'm breaking free. I'm gonna go let the animals out so they can follow me. I may actually feed them as well. So let me. Oh, cool. It's on autoplay right now, but this is the Cayman Turtle Center with music from our friend Andy. All right, I'm gonna give a quick little tour of the studio, and then I'm gonna let the animals out. Maybe. All right, so here is the studio for people that don't know. So you can see got two big screen TVs behind me. Those are 42-inch TVs. One of them got the OBS that's running off of the desktop computer. The other one I often have sports on. You can see there's a third smaller TV above it that I often have a second sports game on, so I can be watching two games simultaneously while doing the show. So you can kind of see how that all works there. And then I've got the comfy couch. And yeah, so I'm literally just sitting on the couch watching sports while I'm doing the show, but it works well. And yeah, I built this studio out 7 years ago, or no longer, probably longer. But yeah. Um, all right, I'm going to grab a second computer, which is kind of ridiculous, but that's the one I'm going to do the photoshopping on, and get the animals in here and grab some more water. But I'll be right back. I'm going to leave you guys with this video. I'm going to turn it up a little bit so you can listen to it. I'll be back in about 6 minutes. All right, I'm gonna mute the audio for a second and change over. 1 second. Testing 1, 2. Can you guys hear me okay on this computer? I was just testing a couple of things real quick. Let me choose a different. Doing some adjustments real quick on the fly to OBS. Yeah, that looks. All right. So I think you guys should be able to hear me now, right? And the video, oh, it was low. Okay, I could have probably boosted that more. Um, but does it sound okay now on this computer? It's a different computer completely. So let me know how the audio is coming through here. Hi, Carly. I really appreciate you for tuning in and joining us. We're gonna do some art in just a second. I'm gonna get my water, and we'll start it up in a little bit. But I wanted to see something real quick. This is muted and this is audio.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, that does work. Okay, so do, 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 do. Um, This is a really cute video. So I was going to just show this real quickly. It's 4 minutes. I'll be right back after that. Let me see if I can view this full screen. Playback.
But here you go, bare sandy feet.
Can you guys hear that okay?
Bare sandy feet, waves crash and recede, go and come again, time and time again, over and over they sweep and recede. Bare fingers beneath, go and come again. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Over and over they reach. And I'm alone in need to walk along the dotted lines. Follow and see. There's no dotted lines here at all. Birds hum as they sing. Trees sway as they breathe. Swell and compress again. Maestro with baton in hand. Over and over they swing. And I long in need To walk along the wooden line. Oh, follow and see. There's no wooden lines here at all. Mhm. Oh, no, no, no. Waves crash and recede. Bare fingers beneath. Go and come again. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Over and over they reach. Dive along your knee. Walk along the path in time. Oh, follow and see. Follow and see. Follow and see. There's no path to take here at all. Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
But here you go, bare sandy feet. Bare sandy feet. Waves crash and recede.
All right, we're back. All right, everybody. Lay down. My dog, of course, now wants to play. Anyway, so I was going to show off a little bit about some of the stuff that we did last night with Eddie Brown. In case anybody missed that, you can check out the VOD on my channel. I'm also going to highlight it and put it on my YouTube later today. But anyway, I'm super thank you everyone for stopping by and being a part of this pop-up stream. It's been really fun. So these are the emotes I made last night. Let's get into that. We did this one, which is called the Guitar Man. And it started off like this. And I just make it a little bigger, even though I know emotes will be small. So that was the design he sent to me, but he wanted to make it look more like him, and we wanted to change it up obviously a bit. So we created this design that almost gives that sort of neon-esque look to it. So it would be good on light and dark backgrounds. And then obviously when it's turned smaller, it looks really cool. So Yeah, it was a really fun design idea. We outlined it, shaded it, got it so it's got a glow to it, doubled up the effect so that way it feels a little bit thicker and more robust. We also designed it so we took out all the coloring so that way it's transparent so it can appear on any color. This one, we took his normal Eddie Brown logo. We took out his lettering and wording. We put a wolf and a moon because that's sort of the symbol that he identified with. He talked a little bit about his Cherokee heritage. We put some feathers in here to make it a dream catcher. So the whole idea is it's a dream catcher guitar. And so yeah, welcome in, champ. It's nice to see you. Yeah, we got a big group in here. A lot of people have stopped by. We just did a lunch. We had some ribs and we chatted a bit. We talked about Italy. We've talked about travel and other fun things and my spring break and the vlog that I did. And we're now taking a quick look at the final results of the two designs. We got this is the one that's the guitar man, and this one is the dream catcher. I'm really happy of how they look on both light and dark, which is something that I really pride myself on because sometimes emotes are designed to look one way or another, and I do that by creating sort of a green screen, and then we swap out the colors, and then eventually I take out all of them, and then I make it a I've been looking as we've had a surprise virtual baby shower for a teammate. Well, that's awesome. Congratulations to them. I'm gonna change these cameras around a little bit so that way people can see what I am typing and sort of how I design stuff. But yeah, I'm happy that so many people are able to tune in. And it was kind of fun to take everyone around the house and the studio. And so yeah, let's get into a little bit of photoshopping. The idea was I was gonna Photoshop some of my graphics for my podcast. But if people would like me to Photoshop something else or learn about something in Photoshop, you can throw those questions in chat. Seems to be a Pokemon in chat, so let me see if I can swap to too many windows open. Let me see here. I'm also gonna change the stream title. All right, I'm gonna switch the category to art as well. Oh, it's Design with Me Photoshop stream. And yeah, so see if I did it in time. Let's see, do I have one of these already? I do, so that's good. All right, well, welcome everyone to the art side of things. This right here is my season 7 graphic. I'm gonna try to move some stuff around real quick. I'm going to need to pull up my animation window, which is called timeline. And I'm gonna just pop that down here. So this is the animation that's currently the GIF. So if you look above me right now, there's an animated GIF that's floating around. And this is the same animated GIF that we use on our website. So taking a look at the canvas size to make sure. So it's 800 by 305. And I'm just going to look at my code on my website just to make sure that this is the exact dimensions that we need before I spend too much time photoshopping it. Websites. All right, well, my website seems to be done. So I'm not gonna check that right now. But let me do something else real quick and see. It's really weird. I'll have to talk to my people about that because it was working yesterday. I was just on it. But anyway, we'll design the logo right now anyway, and I'm going to assume that it is the right dimensions. And yeah, so basically what happens is the city, so the how I created my Sports on the Hill podcast logo is the idea is it's like sports on the hill. So the hill is another word for like the DC area. And so we took the city of DC in the outline and I took it and made it black with some bevel and embossed on it. Then I took the capital and I sort of cut into it so it looks like the capital is coming out of the city, right? So the Capitol building, and then if you look at the DC flag, they have 3 stars, and so I tried to have the DC flag 3 stars represented in there, and there's also a subtle nod to the fact that this area is called the DMV, the DC, Maryland, Virginia, and all the fans of all of those areas root for the same teams. So the 3 stars can also represent one for DC, one for Maryland, and one for Virginia as well. And then there's a gradient on the S, and then that's how that is designed. So I have it instead of it saying Sports on the Hill podcast, which is what it usually says, right? I did a play on that, and so it shows the logo and then it's season. Sorry, not too far. Multiply. So it spells out season and then 7 sort of slides in. So that was the animation I did for season 7. So we now need to update this, obviously. So you could just change the 7 to an 8. And we could just see how that looks, or we could do something a little bit more fancy as well. I kind of thought about maybe potentially changing it up and making it a different animation. But we're going to keep on going through the animation and see what other stuff we need to update along the way. So that one has this, it come across and says all previous episodes in the archive below. Then it goes through our district of champions. So these are the different championship teams that we've covered. And then it shows it holds on that for 2 seconds, and then it shows the different champions, the Nationals, and then the Mystics and the Capitals, and then it's the Commanders, and then it's Wizards, and DC United, and then boxing. And this shows other teams that we have covered. So that's kind of how the animation goes. And then this at the top tells you the current schedule. So this is season 7, so it needs to be 8. And then these are all the different stuff that we cover. And yeah, so I do want to adjust this. We got the No Spots podcast to break down the PowerPoint. So these are this season's podcast partners. And so it says season 8. And that says season 8. So that's all good. So basically it tells people about our apparel and accessories. We have usually on our website when it's working, there is a link to our all the different stuff that you could buy. You can get pillows, you can see like behind me. You can also get lots of shirts that you see me wear, hoodies, and lots of other stuff that you see different members of the podcast team wearing. It talks about the YouTube channel. Carol has one and I have one, so both of those buttons are on the top of the website. The listen here, this is all the different ways that you can listen to it. I actually think that we should maybe update this graphic as well, because Anchor is no longer the name for it. They've actually changed their name. And so Noah doesn't like the fact that I'm talking to not him. What's up, bud? I got both animals here. So anyway, I'm thinking about changing the name of that to the What is? Let's make sure that's not working. Okay, that's really annoying. Spotify for podcasts. Yeah, they have a new logo, so I'm just grabbing that right now. Go to desktop. So if anyone has any questions about any of the different stuff that I'm doing, and wants to learn more, I'm always happy to answer all of that as well. I'm gonna turn this off for all the layers because when you add a picture to it, it adds it to everything. I just really want it on one layer, and that's this one. You guys, head up. Um, Spotify for podcasters. I'm just trying to decide. Yeah, part of me thinks that maybe I'll just choose the Spotify logo because I don't know if I like how that looks. Um, it's just so long. I kind of like the anchor better. I don't know. Let me see if there's another Spotify for podcasters logo out there. Maybe it's just the purple logo. I think that's probably gonna look better. Oops, that's way too big. But then it fights with its own logo because it is on Spotify too. Kind of like the one with two different things, but that's not my choice. What's the answer? Maybe I should change how the whole. Maybe we do. I don't know. Oh, I'm gonna ignore that for now. Even though I know. All right, let's go. This thing. Maybe that's just the whole logo, and I don't have. Trying to figure out the Spotify thing because the company changed its name. It used to be called Anchor, and now it's called Spotify for podcasters. I'm trying to debate whether or not we just have the Spotify for podcasters logo and like cut out everything behind it. That might be the play. But I kind of like that it shows that it's on Apple Podcasts and Spotify too. Hmm. It used to be called Anchor, but then well, it was owned by Spotify, but then Spotify decided to rebrand it. Send a quick email to my service provider to figure out why. Stop. Are you replacing this? I don't know if I actually was debating that the other day on whether or not I wanted to update the sports logo. It does cover all the sports, but not the team specifically. Yeah, I mean, I like it too. I wouldn't get rid of it. I would maybe like modify it and make a new version of it. Because I was thinking about that also is most people keep their same emotes, but I I've had mine for a while and I could create, new versions of them and replace the old ones. But so I was debating that as well. Um, um, I was trying to find an email. Um, all right. I can't tell what I want to do with this anchor logo. They don't necessarily. Oh, a wild dust ox has appeared. Do I leave it anchor, even though I know that's not what they're called anymore because I like their graphic better? Do I put a big Spotify green logo on it? Do I keep? Do I not even have anything? Maybe that's the play. What's the Google podcast? I'm gonna grab the Google podcast image. What else was I on? I was on iHeartRadio. So we got Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio. What other podcast platforms do people listen to? Hmm. Do people use Overcast, Radio Republic? I don't know. Grab them because we're on them. Why not? Hmm. Sorry, I'm just cutting and pasting some of these different graphics together. I'm putting these logos on top of them because I don't think anyone uses either of them, but I want to include all of them that are there. So that, I'm gonna merge that down. That I'm gonna merge down, and I'm gonna merge this down. So now it's all one image, and then I am going to make a white box behind it. Oh, I see. The stroke on that. Get that out of this format. Yeah. All right, and this is the reason it looks very blurry is it's at 572%. So when you look at it at full size, it'll look right. All right. Your Discord notifications are on. Oh, yeah, that's true. Let me turn off. I forgot. I don't think. Oh, maybe there's streaming mode. You're not adjusting at the touchpad. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. That's how I've always done all of my photoshopping. Um, that's why I kind of wanted to show it because people don't necessarily believe me that I don't use a. And what's crazy, I'm doing this on the 15-inch, and I've got my bigger laptop, my work one, next to me. That should be doing it on that tripod's twice the size. But I kind of like a challenge, right? And I think that looks pretty good. So let's see here. Where is the listen here? Yes. So I take this layer here and I drag it down. Oh, there's so many layers in this file. I'm gonna take this layers thing out for a second because I just gotta find all of these at the same time. So this one is rectangle 8. These two in a group. Okay, so that should now work, right? And then I should be able to. Awesome. I think that solved it. So I was trying to group these different things together so that way it will appear at the right time and no one else. All right, season 8, Sports and Health podcast. And the graphic comes in. And then all of the episode. Oops. All previous episodes in the archive. Oh, there's some graphic that goes there with that. Hold on, something got turned off. I think what got turned off there? Hold on, let me see on the other one. So the animation's actually scrolling above. Oh yeah, it's supposed to have the time and date of the. Okay, so it's this scene. So if I take this one and I duplicate it and I put it here, delete this one and I'll make this go for 2 seconds. All right, so that's 2 seconds. Then this thing comes up and we have the different champions. And here's where I need to add a new layer. So where there used to be boxing, I want to make the DC Defenders was here. This one whole graphic. So, trying to think of. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a boxing logo here, which is this guy. I'm just gonna cut part of this out. And go to this layer and paste it. And we're gonna go back to the beginning. We're gonna turn it off. And you've got to slide all the way back to where we were. It's kind of annoying. And we're just gonna turn it on for here. And then I'm going to resize this. I'm gonna make a whole separate DC Defenders thing. I think I'm gonna make this guy a little bit bigger and I'm gonna cut him out of. Guy slightly bigger. White background behind it. Defenders thing. Going to then merge these layers. Deselecting both layers and then Shift E and Command E. So that should appear over this. And that should only appear on this layer. Perfect. All right, now we're gonna go back to this one. And we are going to select all and delete this. And we're gonna design something for the defenders because they're doing really well this year. I want to have them more front facing. All right, so let me go and take a look and see if we can find cool defenders graphic. Oh, this is pretty awesome. Lines and spread and adding a drop shadow behind that DC Defenders logo and then making it a solid red beneath it. We are going to combine these two layers into one. We're going to go back to the beginning. We're going to turn it off. And then we're going to go back to where this spot was and just turn it on there. And now we've got a DC Defenders one. So that's how we do that. All right, we're almost done. So we've also covered boxing, VCD with blah 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 blah, season 8 schedule. Oops. Yep. That looks good. That looks good. All right, I think that we are pretty much done with the animation, unless anybody. I was originally gonna adjust this 8 to do something different, but part of me wonders if it's worth the time to reanimate it. I think it probably looks fine just to have season 8 come in. But yeah, anybody have any other thoughts or questions on any of this? I think it's pretty much in a good place. So I'm gonna export this in a bunch of different formats, as a GIF, as a video. We'll use it as promos. We'll put it on our website. It'll also exist right above where you're seeing right now. I have an animated GIF flipping right above me. And yes, so let me save this. Weird, now my website is coming up, but it's very slow. All right, so we gotta do this banner graphic as well. I need to update. Kind of wanted to do something on my website to scan it to see if another graphic would work, but it's not letting. It's not letting. All right, and I'll worry about that later. All right, so this one is a different banner. This is our Facebook banner graphic. It's also loads in from our website. So when people type in sports@thp.com, like it'll do a preview image. So I'm just gonna Photoshop an 8 in there real quick. So taking a text file, we're gonna grab this color so everything matches. And then we'll resize it down. Put a white box behind it so it covers up the other one. All right, so these are the different logos of the different teams that we're covering, but we don't have a Defenders logo on there. So I definitely would like to add that as well. I like. They do have a new logo. I like their old logo better. Hmm. I do wonder, maybe I'll. All right, what do you guys think? Should I stick with the old logo because it looks better, or do you think I should upgrade it to their new logo? I'm sorry, escaped. Oh, I didn't even see that. Poke one. New logo went up. Okay. All right, let's go back to PC. It's crazy. All the great graphics that people have designed is all based around the old one because I feel like everyone likes that old one better. Um, that's kind of cool. We can do something as simple as that. Well, let me. It kind of looks cool. What do you think, champ? It's kind of having like different shades of red jumping in on it. Yeah. I think that looks pretty cool. All right, so these are now, there you go. All right, so that's just on that layer and it all works. All right. So we're gonna go back to this one and so let's take a look here. Going to duplicate this layer in case we need to go back to it. I'm going to merge these three things together. And then I'm gonna merge this and this together to make one whole thing. And then I'm gonna cut this part out. This we're gonna drop in some white. I think I want this logo to be a little bit farther away. This and this. All right, champ, what do you think of this as the new Facebook banner? We added the Defenders logo in there. We kind of shifted everything a little bit. I kind of like them being at the end. Cool. All right. This is why I'm happy that I save all my project files so we don't have to like redesign and redo all the stuff from scratch. And it definitely saves a lot of time. We could do this in an hour instead of probably take me 2 or 3 hours to do it normally. So I'm pretty happy with both of those. I'm gonna try to figure out why my website isn't working. So we're gonna do that offline. And then I'll upload some of these graphics and use them across different social medias. Let me just see who is online and we might raid out. And if the person I want to raid isn't live yet, I might do a little bit more art until we see them live. Oh shit. Mike Shinoda is chatting. Is this? I thought the so confused. Um, Interesting. Mike Shinoda's on his channel. I definitely want to raid over to that. I know it's front page, but um I think he's doing on Monday the big stream with Lincoln Park. But that is cool that he's on. I haven't seen Mike Shinoda stream in a very, very long time. Definitely go check out Meteora 20. It is awesome. 89 tracks, 5 hours of Lincoln Park music, all their demos and all that sort of stuff. Let me see who else is on right now. Maybe we should rate somebody a little bit smaller than Mike Shinoda because he's front page right now. He probably won't notice us, but let's see here. We got Dan Tremblay, who I love. Emily Henry. There's a lot of cool people on right now. Who do I want to raid? Well, I'll ask a question. Oh, Scream Scribe is on as well. That might be the play. Champ, I know you've got a ton of emote slots open. Do you have a few minutes to talk through an emote? Maybe I can make you one or two on stream real fast, and we can see if these other people jump online that I wanted to raid originally. I know you're at work, so I'm not going to ask you to jump on Zoom, but we could still come up with an idea, and I could design an emote for you. I love giving emotes to my mods and stuff like that. So, and you are also a valuable member of Team Sports OTHP. So I'd be happy to create another emote for you. So let me know, Champ, if you have an idea for an emote you want me to quickly put together in like 30 minutes. We could do that. Or I can wrap up and raid out. Either way is cool with me. Or we can check out what I want to hear what Mike Shinoda is doing. I'm so curious. So I'm gonna stop the screen share.
A bunch of guitars in here in the pre-chorus. These guys.
Oh, this is cool. He's working through how he made In My Head, which is his latest single.
So this is actually an important. Here's a little piece of like music making theory for you.
This is awesome. I'm such a huge Mike Shinoda fan.
Right.
If people don't know that, I would, but I'm really busy at the moment with work and currently dealing with a hiring manager. Oh, no problem. No problem.
So in the pre-chorus, this melody starts.
All right, I think we're gonna write out then. I'm pretty happy with what we were
So I
able to do.
introduced this like
Man, there's so many
theme,
people that I
this
wanna.
little musical theme. I brought it in the pre-chorus. But then
I
you'll
can't decide
notice
who I want to raid.
later on in the chorus.
This is why it's
So,
the most difficult part of streaming. There's so many great people on right now.
So that same like sound, basically, that same series of notes shows up in the pre-chorus.
I think maybe this.
Turn into muscle memory. Yeah, yes. Once you practice enough, you can move your hands, much like typing, without looking at them, and you may even carry on a conversation while doing it. Absolutely, that's most music streamers right there.
I think we're gonna raid the stream scribe because I've never been able to really do that. He's always on at different times. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in and being a part of just this awesome stream. Yeah, I appreciate it. And I'm gonna get off of the screen here so that way you don't have the crazy inception.
Yes,
But this is where we're gonna
Right.
be
If
going
if you're trying
now.
to do
So get a
something
little
that you're
bit of a
not
preview.
interested in doing anymore, it's
Or
gonna
if it's
come
your
across,
job.
it's gonna show.
Stream scribe is
Yeah.
awesome.
one of my favorite quotes
So,
to misapply. Star Wars: Return of the Jedi. Keep your
right.
distance, Chewie, but don't look like you're trying to keep your distance. You know, do what you're doing, but don't have an agenda. You know, enjoy it. Let people see you enjoying it. Don't worry about the other things; they'll come. But like when people try to build a
Got a
channel,
raid call. We're
that's
gonna
what makes
end in just a second here. I appreciate
you're putting too much
everybody
effort in trying to get
for
a
being a
result
part
and
of
not enough
this.
effort in trying to get results.
And yeah, it's been a fun stream, and I appreciate you all so much. We will definitely talk to you guys soon. Is the raid still going? Yes. Raid no. All right. Have a good one, everyone. I'll be back Sunday on doing a special podcast with the PowerPoint Point podcast at 2:00. I'll be also back on Monday with Sports on the Hill podcast at 9:00. Look forward to it. Have a great one.